What's up, you guys? I'm here with a new video today, and I'm here to do another discussion video topic, kind of like a Slim Chat video. I'm here to talk about budget players, and budget players in a sense that just because you can't afford the highest rarity cards or the quote-unquote best cards in the game doesn't make you a bad player. I want to give a shout out to my friend Josh on Facebook. He sent me this idea. I had said in my previous video, if you had any ideas or anything, to just PM them to me or send them to me like via YouTube, via Facebook, whatever. And he sent me that idea, and I really like it. I'm gonna have a link to his channel down below, so go check him out for sure. So this topic is pretty simple. You have players that will shell out thousands and thousands of dollars to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a known fact. People have done it. I've done it. A lot of people have done it, just so that you can have the quote-unquote best cards. Perfect example, Mega Phantom beats Draco Sack. When dragons were literally the tits, they were like almost, they were unstoppable basically. Like in this, you had to play the mirror match, you're playing Prophecy, you're playing Evil Swarm. During that format, Draco Sack was in high demand. You had to play 3 of them. You had to. And people would make arguments, oh no, you can run just 2 and be fine. And like, oh hell no, you have to run 3. And didn't they go up? I think they went up to about $200 a piece. Granted, that's not as high as Dark Arm Dragon had gone at its peak, but we'll use this as a more prevalent example since it's still at 3. It was $200. They were a bitch to get. I was fortunate enough to pull one. I pulled one. Everyone remembers my crazy, stupid luck when I opened packs, and I opened one in my last pack of all things. It was like super like crazy, like how that video ended that I opened with a Mega Phantom Beast. But it was the fact that I was lucky to get that card. It was still over $100 plus card. It was like 150, maybe. It was almost, I don't even remember what the price was on pre-release, but it eventually would just go up and up and up. And around like Nationals time, around like that time, they had gone up to about 180, I think, 180, maybe over $200 for a single Draco Sack. And it's crazy because not every player can, just do that. Not every player can just say, here's $200, give me a card. And then it's just like, well, fuck, wait a minute. I just spent $200 on one card. One card for a 15-card extra deck. If you're just starting, like, that's insane. So, you look at it at that spectrum, that's, like, literally insane to spend that much money on a single card. And, in a sense, it's kind of dumb, people would say. I've heard a lot of people say it's just dumb that you spend that much on a card, wait for it to go down. But I think one thing people don't understand is sometimes you're on, what's the word I want to use? You're on like a time limit. You're on a real like time cringe where you need to have a certain card right then and there. You need to have it for a weekend. You need to do whatever you can. Borrowing isn't an option sometimes, and you need to have a certain card by a certain period of time. And that's where sometimes desperation kicks in, and you have to, unfortunately shell out, trade out, whatever it is. Another good example of that is DNA Surgery from Nationals of last year. Oh my god. That card, someone bought 3 for a $100 bill. That's insane for a freaking common that no one ran from Pharaoh's Servant until Spellbooks. Literally, it was the best answer to Spellbooks for that event. So, yeah, but more onto the budget players. So, I've never understood what's wrong with using low rarity. I myself will use pretty low rarity on most of my decks. The only deck I think I can say I ever honestly blinged out, and not even fully blinged out, but did my best to bling out, was Dark World. And even now, even though I still have the deck, I'm not playing a blinged out version. I'm playing like a lower rarity version. Outside of the tour guides, I do like my secret tour guides, but outside of that, I kept it pretty budget, common dealings, common gates, all the stuff that came from the starter deck. Granted, the hollows aren't that expensive. The only thing that's pretty expensive is probably the Super Foolish, but I'm using a DT one, I'm using a common one. To me, rarity has never mattered, and that's just my own personal opinion. Certain rarities look nicer. A lot of people prefer a certain rarity. People prefer a secret versus a super, and vice versa. People prefer to use an ultra version over a super, or ultra over, what you guys get the idea. To use a certain rarity based on what they like. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with preferring a certain rarity. But another thing is that I've seen people in the past, I've seen it at locals, I've seen it in many places, they look down upon people because they play a low rarity deck. They play, like, common staples, like common Mirror Force, common D-Prison, common Bottomless. Like, oh, you don't have a champion pack Bottomless, you're a scrub. You don't have a champion pack Compulse, oh, you're a scrub. You don't even have an Ultra Torrential, you're a scrub. Like, I've seen these things. Like, they're actually a thing, and it's kind of stupid to think about it, that players are cut down for the fact that they're still playing the game, they're just playing a lower rarity of the card. I made a video ages ago about how rarity shouldn't matter, and it's kind of crazy because it's true. rarity, in a sense, does not matter except to the player who's using them. To me, you can give me what's a good example? You can give me a common torrential versus an ultra torrential, and they're still going to do the exact same thing. When I flip that torrential, whether it's ultra or whether it's common, it's going to have the same effect. It's going to wipe the board, hopefully, if there's no wiretap or 7 tools or something crazy like that to happen. But it's going to get the job done, whether it's worth 25 cents or $25, it's going to get the exact same job done. I guess the only thing that is a little different, I want to touch upon this too, so I cover all my bases, is that it's also like the player. The player may prefer to have a higher rarity deck. Some people say that a higher rarity deck, different rarity deck, draws better, that it, in a sense, stacks itself. I don't know. I've never really cared. Like, I've used mismatching rarities, I've used matching rarities, I've done it all. Like, I've used highest rarity, lowest rarity, everything. I don't think I've ever played a deck with a CP bottomless, though. I don't think I've ever played it with a CP bottomless. I have played with a CP compulse, but I haven't played with a CP bottomless or a CP book. Unless I was borrowing the deck. I never myself had them, so to me it never really mattered. I liked my dual terminal Book of Moon. I liked my my rare bottomless, original bottomless. I liked even my common bottomless. I one time ran ultra bottomless when they came out in the Legendary Collection. I had all ultra staples, and I was like, I'm over that. I'd rather use, you know, commons, like whatever. And that was just my thing. It was just a way of getting rid of stuff I didn't need and still having the same card to do the same thing. And I think the beauty of this is that now a lot of cards have been reprinted. Thanks to Battle Pack, thanks to these special editions and stuff like that. You're getting a lot of reprinted cards. Perfect example would be Tour Guide from the Underworld, Pot of Duality, and now Breakthrough Skill coming in the Lightsworm Structure deck. Yes, it was reprinted in Battle Pack. Now it's coming in a Structure deck, so it's extremely accessible to people. I don't understand, I've never really understood what the big deal is. You know, whether the player is using blinged out card or a common card, they're going to do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter what the rarity is, it's how you use it as a player. It's how you use your skill to play the card correctly. Whether it's worth a lot of money or worth nothing, it's still going to do the same thing. You could get blown out by a common Mirror Force for 5, and it's going to do the exact same thing and feel just as bad if you got blown out by a Super or an Ultra Mirror Force. You could get Dark Hold by a Super Dark Hole or an Ultra Dark Hole or a Common Dark Hole. It still does the same thing. You could Effect Veiler a monster, and whether that Veiler is Super or Ultra or Ultimate, it's still negating the monster. It's still doing the exact same thing. And I just think, like, that's one thing is that a lot of players need to understand, is that rarity to some players does matter. It does matter, but to a lot of players it does not. To budget players who are not able to afford cards, you know, people are in school, people don't have jobs. A lot of people who play this game are in high school, they don't have jobs, they're mostly going to school. Some people, don't feel like they want to spend money on the game. There's nothing wrong with that you don't want to spend a lot of money to play the game. If you're having fun, if you're going to locals, if locals is your thing, if you're not a big tournament person, if you're not going to regionals, you're not going to YCSs, you're not going to ARGs, you're not going to nationals, etc., you can play whatever you want. You can play lowest rarity. You can play lowest rarity in an event. It wouldn't matter. That's one thing, is that whether you're a budget player or not, you can still play the game. And I think that that's the main message of this video, is whether you're a budget player or not, you can still play the game. And people who talk down on you, like, I don't understand why. Like, you're still playing the same cards. Okay, they're not the same rarity. Like, people will look down at me because I use comments and stuff like that. I don't really care. If it gets a job done, it gets a job done. If I summon, what is it, like someone could summon a secret French Judgment Dragon and blow up the board and win the game there, and you could summon a common Judgment Dragon and blow up the exact same board and still win the game. That's just like another example. Since Lightsworn, so everyone's talking about Lightsworn, I thought I'd use that as an example. But all in all, rarity to me does not matter. It does not make me look at players differently, because I myself use budget cards. I don't care. I probably would never fully bling out a deck unless if I wanted to show off, but there's nothing really to show off about, because, all in all, whether you have a blinged out deck or not, you could have every card blinged out, you could have it all foreign, you could have whatever, and you can still play the deck bad. You can still play the deck bad, and then, that makes you look bad, because here you are shelling out all this money to make your deck look flashy, and you're still playing it wrong. You're still, nothing's changed. Whether you're using commons or hollows, it does not change, the kind of skill. It doesn't make you a better player. It doesn't make you a better player. Rarity does not make you a better player. It just makes your deck look nice. It's also personal preference. So to all the budget players out there who ever feel bad that they're, using low rarity, that they're, maybe they're not able to afford the highest rarity of cards, the nicest of cards, etc., don't worry about it. I'm the same way. I can go buy the cards if I want, but I choose not to. I don't feel there's any point. If I got a common bottomless sitting around, a common compulse, a common torrential, common warning, all that stuff, I'm good. You know, it can be common, it can be hollow, it really doesn't matter. Sometimes I just like to get rid of all my high rarity stuff, keep the low rarity stuff, and still play because, you know, extra money in your pocket, it works out, and then you can just invest it in other stuff. You can invest it in, like, sleeves, supplies, stuff, whatever you need. And eventually, if you want to bling out, if you've saved up enough, then go ahead and bling your deck out. It's not going to make any difference. So yeah, so that's my message to all the budget players out there, that rarity is, you know, is preference. Rarity is preference. You know, you could play someone that fully blings out their deck, you know, more power to them. Play someone who doesn't bling out their deck, like me. You could play someone like me who doesn't bling out their deck, and, you know, I may not, you know, maybe you'll draw that CP bottomless and more than I'll draw my common bottomless, but, you know, that's how things go. So that's my whole spiel on it. Hope you guys liked the video. You know, please comment below. Let me know what you guys thought. Please leave your thoughts on rarity. You know, what's your favorite rarity? Do you like playing a certain rarity for a certain reason? You know, doesn't matter. You know, some people love blinged out cards. I mean, I think hollow cards look awesome. I think, you know, whenever they give super to a rarity to a card, it looks awesome outside of Rabbit and Tour Guide. They look awesome. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Please, you know, leave your comments below and let me know any other topics you'd like me to discuss here. Anything like along these lines, just like things for players in general, or, you know, just opinions on different decks and stuff like that. And I'll definitely be bringing you guys more videos. So I hope you liked it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.